Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be going over Breakout EDU Digital. This has been something I've been using in my classroom for the last few months. I found several of them on Twitter and tried them out, and my students loved it. It's a great way to gamify your classroom in a way that teaches new content or allows students to review concepts in a way that is a game. And kids like games and they like challenges and they like to challenge each other, and this has been a great way to bring that competitiveness into the classroom, but at the same time, they can go at their own pace. It challenges them to think critically, to collaborate with one another and communicate with one another. So it just has all these elements in it, but it's all put into a game. And so we're getting kids to review and go over concepts that are important, but in a way that they enjoy. So I thought I would go over kind of what it looks like and how I built mine, so that way you kind of have an idea of what to do if you want to build your own. So this is just my folder of all my breakouts, and I just organized them by different files. And then within those files, there's more files because I'm just a crazy person with organizing my many files. One of the things that I do add on at the end of every single breakout, though, is a survey. So you can see that if I open this up, it just says which breakout did you complete and what did you think of it. Super simple, super short. I know some people have different things on there where we'll email them like a badge if they complete it, and I just haven't done that yet, but I think that's an awesome idea. And I think that is something that I want to do next in relation to my Breakout EDUs. But for now, I'm just working on building some, and the students just love it. So let's go into the one I just made called Save the Uber Driver. It's kind of a ridiculous story. I like to make my breakouts into stories because the students seem to like it. And in this one, I try to put the names in of students that are in my class, because then as they're going through it, they just find it really funny and it's just very personalized. And then they're excited for the next time to see whose name is in it during the next breakout. So the first thing that you'll see is there's two files here that I can open up, and one is actually a Google site. So if you're not familiar with the new Google Sites, it actually is like a file within your folder. So when I click on that, it opens up to the editable site, and it's kind of interesting because you can see it here as almost like you would see a Google Doc or a Google slide, but it's a website. And so this is the website, and then down here this is our lock form that the students have to lock into. And in this case, they had to find the times that the Uber driver were supposed to pick up his passengers, and they have to put it into this form and to try to break in. And that form is just right here, and it's just a Google form. One thing that I use on it is what's called a data validation. So down here in the form settings, there's what's called data validation. And for the first appointment, it's 8:15 a.m. And that's exactly what they have to put in. If they don't put that exact number in, then it will not let them move on. So let me show you an example on our published site. So if I was to go down here and try to put in like 8:20 a.m., you can see it's still locked. But the minute I put in 8:15 a.m., you can see that it turns white, and then I have unlocked that code. So it's just kind of a cool way to create a lockbox, but it's a digital lockbox. So that is the form they have to break into, and that's kind of where everything is based off of. But to figure out what these hints are and to figure out what these lock codes are, they have to go find the hints. And that's all embedded within our site. So what I have up top, I have like 5 different pages, and those 5 different pages I've created folders for them. So I have all these different characters within this story, and within each of those pages, within each of those characters, there are different Google Docs or different websites that they go to break in. So if I were to click on, let's just do the lawyer and her assistant. If I were to go in there, I can see that there's a story and the students have to read through it, and their goal is that they have to figure out what are they supposed to do, what are the codes that they need to find, and how do they do that. And what they can do as they go through this, they can see that there's something underlined, and day is underlined, and if they click on it, it opens it up to Edpuzzle, and they're given this video to watch that relates to a concept that we are reviewing. And some of the questions just have questions, but when they get to the very end, it's important that they watch it because there is a link, and if they were to copy that link, that takes them to a Google form in which they have to answer some questions. And again, that data validation is there so that if they're not typing in the right words, then they won't be able to break in. But if they do type in the right words, then it will turn white and they can start breaking in. And once they click submit on here, they would get that time for the Uber driver, and they'd have to figure out where do they put that in when they go back to the home screen, and which appointment time is that. Now when we go on, basically what I did, the lawyer and her assistant, is that you can see that there is a folder for them, and it's called the lawyers, and that's just where I place everything. So it's just a Google form because Edpuzzle houses the video on Edpuzzle, but this just helps me keep track of where I'm putting my own files and folders for the specific breakout. So that was one of them. Let me go through a few more different tools that I used when I built this one. So I've got the soccer players, and this one was actually probably the trickiest one for them because they're looking here and they see there's nothing for them to click on. And when they hover over the soccer ball, they can click on this, but it doesn't allow them to do anything except see a soccer ball. What they're supposed to do though, and this is very tricky, is that I had taken a Google drawing and put a little hyperlink right here, right at the bottom corner. So over here there isn't one, but right here there is. And if they click on that, then it opens it up to another form. They answer the question, and then it gives them a hint or a clue to getting that next time for the Uber driver. So if I go into the soccer players, you can see that I've got the form and I've got the drawing. So if I open up that drawing, there's the soccer ball, and you can see there is that circle right here, and it just has a hyperlink to that form. And then I just hit it within the soccer ball. That way the students don't see it easily, and then they have to go on there and they have to slow down. They have to think about where that clue might be hidden and how to get to it. So that's what I did for the soccer players. Then I've got the writers. And on this one was a Google map. And so I used my maps. And when they click on it, they can see that there is information about the location that they're going to, but there is a description and it has an equation that they're supposed to solve. And it does the same thing on 2 and 3, and they have to solve those 3 equations. But when they get to 4, that's when they see there's a Google form, because it's great for them to be able to check their answers. And they are supposed to put in the answers that they've got for those different countries that they visited, submit their answer, and then it leads them to a clue. And some of these clues, I think like on this one, it was about writers, and I think I said that the time was the same as J.K. Rowling's birthday. And so I think her birthday was like July, I don't know, I think it was like 17th or something. And so the time was like 7:17, or no, I think it was 7:31. But then they had to realize, oh, okay, that's the time, and then they put that into the form. I also had the chefs, and in this one, there was a Google slide that I embedded, and it had basically the URL to a form that they were going to go to, but they had to figure out what order to put it in. So just to show you how that looks like in my drive, if I go to the chefs, I've got the Google slide right here, and I've got the form right there. And for me, I use a lot of forms to check because they're doing a lot of math, and they're using a lot of different math strategies to solve problems, and using the data validation on the forms is just a really easy way for them to see if they're getting it correct, and then lead them to their next location, or lead them to a clue, or lead them directly to the answer. Now this one takes a little bit of time because they had to figure out the right order, and I think there was like 5 different slides. And I did have to give them a clue here that this is an I, because when I was trying to put it together, I was not getting it right. I kept putting an L and then 1, and then I was like, oh, capital I. And so sometimes you have to be aware of those things too when you test it out. And then for the business owners of our Math and Mingle, there's another Google drawing here, and similar to the soccer ball, there is a link. And when they click on that link, this one actually takes them to Jigsaw Planet, which is where they've got a puzzle and they have to put together a puzzle. And the question that I put on this puzzle, I created this puzzle. I'll show you right now. We've got, the business owners? I created this drawing, and it was just a question of what are the first 3 digits of the 5th row of Pascal's triangle. So it actually doesn't relate to anything that we're doing right now with writing linear equations, but sometimes it's nice to throw in some that aren't as concept heavy of what we're currently doing, just to kind of break it up. But on Jigsaw Planet, they did have to go through, they have to put this puzzle together, and then they Google the answer. So it's just another different tool to use to keep things interesting and to just give them a variety so that it's not the same thing that they're doing each time. Now, as I made all those things, I went into my editable site, which looks like this, and I just added in this information. And it's really nice with the new Google Sites is it's so easy to insert anything that you're creating because it's all right here in this right-hand menu. So if I wanted to insert a form, I just click on Forms, and it brings up my most recent forms that I've done. Some of them are going to, and if you're working on the Breakout, you're going to see those pop up. As you can see, mine are very different. These are things that we've been doing in class. But you can do forms, you can do docs, slides, charts, you can embed URLs. You can just put anything on here, and I just do that on each page, or I do a hyperlink, and embedding them into the site is actually probably the easiest part. It's just developing everything that takes a little bit of time. So this is a drawing, and I think I did images or from Drive to get that. When I created the website, all you do with pages is you just add the pages in, and you can change the themes, and that's really it. It's just, the big thing that takes the most amount of time is organizing. What do you want to be on each page? What do you want your lock codes to be? And honestly, usually I get out a piece of paper and I just start brainstorming. I think, what are the EdTech tools I want to use? What are the concepts I want them to know? What's my story going to be? And then I just start putting them together. And usually I work based upon the lock boxes first and go, okay, I want five codes, and I want in this code at least for them to do these types of problems. And in this code, I want to use these type of EdTech tools and have these types of problems. And I work off from there, and then I build my story after that. Because once you figure out what you want to be on each page, what you want them to do, you just build the story around that, and it's really easy. Now, it does take time. I would say that these normally take me 2 or 3 hours, but for me, personally, it's worth it. I enjoy it. It's very creative, and the kids love it. They always ask for more. They want to be a part of the stories. They're giving me ideas for stories, so it is just a really fun way for them to review concepts that they're learning or that they've already learned, and it's just in a game way, and kids love games. So hopefully this gives you an idea where to start if you are wanting to use Breakout EDUs in your classrooms. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time by emailing me or by sending me a message on YouTube or Twitter or anyway. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.